What's up YouTube, it's Ryan from AnnihilatorMTG here, and I'm back again with some more Modern. This week we're going to be going back to basics. I've noticed that the format has been getting more and more aggressive and linear as of late. From the ridiculous cascade builds to the numerous amount of red aggro variants, being able to do something about the stack or the board on turn 1 or 2 is pivotal right now. So I figured that we could play something like Blue-Red Delver and see if the Legacy Sweetheart can perform in Modern. The build that I'm going to be running today is actually quite standard. We have our low-to-the-ground threats in Delver, Pteramander, and Young Pyro, and while the format is much harder on creatures with 1 toughness nowadays, I still think that these creatures are actually quite solid, and even if the first few die, we can always play more. To protect our threats and hopefully ourselves, we have a myriad of counterspells, in the form of Spell Pierce, Mana Leak, Remand, and Force of Negation. I think Spell Pierce in particular is actually quite good, but only really if your build is fast enough to justify it. Finally, we have our removal and burn in the form of Vapor Snag, Lightning Bolt, Petty Theft, and Magmatic Sinkhole. We have some pretty versatile spells here while still remaining focused on finishing the game in a timely manner, and I think that's really cool. All in all, this build embodies a fair but aggressive Magic deck, and I adore that sort of thing. I feel like a variation of this build, be it blue-red or some 3-color version, has a lot of potential right now. So let's head into the first match and see how it performs. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and we won the die roll. Nice. Yeah, this hand is spectacular. We have a Delver and multiple ways to actually protect it, which is pretty darn compelling. Not to mention we have a Cantrip and a Lightning Bolt. That's really hard to beat, so we're keeping this one. Let's go Spire Bluff into a Delver, and then we'll pass. Looks like our opponent kept 7. That's fine. They draw for turn. They go Delta, sure, and they pass. We have a trigger. We reveal an Opt. Let's play the second Spire Bluff. All right, we're going to move on to attacks. We swing in for 3 in the air. We've got him down to 17. Nice. So I think now we can likely just pass and hold up Mana Leak and Force, which is pretty cool. Being on the play like this and having kind of all of our ducks in a row is a really compelling reason to play a deck like this. Looks like our opponent cracked the Delta, so they're down to 16. And then they go for a Triome. Well, we might be dealing with a few Uros here. Well, I say might, but that's almost guaranteed. They play a Snow-Covered Forest and pass. Okay. We draw for turn, Bolt. We kind of fat-thumbed it through that, so we did, in fact, miss the Opt. That is a mistake. It seems like our opponent is knee-deep in the tank here, and I don't really know why. They've been slow-playing pretty hardcore. So we'll swing in for an attack. This takes them down to 13, which is pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. And then we'll pass right on through. They didn't do a growth spiral, which is definitely worth mentioning. They go for the Flooded Strand. They crack it immediately. They're down to 12. And they get a basic island, okay. Then they go for the Dryad. I think this is probably worth countering. All right, and the Mana Leak resolves. In a matchup like this, since I believe that their top end is probably like a prime time or something, even just taking the Dryad out to prevent them from playing additional lands, let alone kind of having that rainbow effect, I think is definitely worth the Mana Leak for sure. They're passing. We untap. We draw for turn. Flooded Strand. That's quite good. So we play the Flooded Strand. We'll move to combat. We swing in. We take them down to 9. They go for a Flooded Strand of their own. They crack it immediately. They go for a Plains. Sure. Let's crack our Flooded Strand. If they're going to do anything, they're going to probably do it now, but they did not. So let's get a basic island. If they were going for a removal spell, I don't think they would wait for our land to come into play. That's just weird. What they might be doing is waiting for us to tap out all of our mana, but we're only really going to go for the Opt. Force of Negation, absolutely. We untap and draw. There's a Serum Visions. That definitely has potential to be very useful. So we're going to directly move straight to attacks, wasting no time here. Now our opponent's paying costs. So, do we go for the Force? I feel like sort of. All right, let's hardcast Force. They go for the Remand on the path. Okay, good value on their part for sure, but we still get in for the attack. And as long as they don't gain life, we're basically in a really good position. They play a Misty Rainforest. Now, of course, in a format with a bajillion Uros, that is certainly on the table. As they path our Delver, let's go Mountain. We shall see how this goes. They're just passing, which is fun. We untap, draw, Pteramander. Let's have some fun here. Let's go for the Pteramander. Then let's go for a Visions. Young Pyro, second Pteramander. Let's put both on the bottom. So now I think I'm just going to wait for them to bite and go from there. They crack the Misty. Sure. They get a basic. They're down to 4. They go for a cryptic. Awesome. So let's go for bolt number 1 and bolt number 2. Okay, we managed to get underneath them. That was basically our entire goal. So we're going to bring in the disputes pretty much every time. I don't think these vapor snags are going to be very useful, full stop. The sinkholes I'm iffy on. We could probably bring in a soul guide lantern. Maybe cut like a young pyro for the second soul guide lantern. Just go like this. Okay, I feel like we can live with that. Let's give it a whirl. Well, this hand is certainly strong. They go for the hollowed fountain, tapped. Beautiful. They pass, we draw. Terramander. Let's crack the flooded strand. I think I'm just going to get a basic and then just jam the Terramander. Our opponent plays a Misty. They crack it immediately. They go for the basic forest. Sure. They pass. Let's go for the Spire Bluff. We're just going to move to attacks now. We swing in. We take him down to 18. Our opponent goes for the growth spiral. Let's dispute that. No ramp for you, my friend. They draw for turn. They're at 6 cards in hand. They go for the field. We're getting busy here, that's for sure. We can't dispute a path, so I think we should likely just opt. Flooded Strand, we're going to say no. Islet, I guess that's a little bit better. We draw for turn. Visions. All right, let's play one of them. Get a young Pyro and opt. Let's do bottom. We'll move on to combat. We swing in. Got them down to 17. They draw for turn. They play a Flooded Strand, and it looks like they're passing once again. Let's chuck Lightning at their face. They're paying costs. They go for the Mana Leak. Sure. Should we just dispute that? I don't see why not. Have a little battle here. They crack the Flooded Strand. They play an Island. Then they go for the second Mana Leak. Beautiful. So that's a huge investment overall that I don't really understand all that much. Let's go for the Delver. And I think here I just want to adapt. We swing in, take him down to 11. Now, I'm hoping that us getting aggressive here isn't premature. That could be very bad, but seeing as they dedicated a lot of their cards in hand, I don't know. They go for the Jace, so the Terramander is donezo. But if we can flip the Delver, then this Jace is trivialized immediately. All right, come on, Delver. Delver on top, that's not really what we're looking for. Gonna hit no. All right, we draw for turn. I think I want to go for the young Pyro and then go for the Visions. We yield. An Islet on top. That's decent. Let's play it. Now, the question is, do we jam another threat? What's the chances of them having a board wipe? Let's just go for the Terramander. I mean, if we do play the Delver, it does trivialize their individual spot removal. We just immediately lose to a board wipe, essentially, but anything but that, and we're doing fine. Let's swing into the Jace. We're going to pass. They draw for turn. Let's see how this goes. They brainstorm. They play a land. They crack it immediately, shuffling away the fluff. They get another basic, specifically a basic that they already have, which is weird because they have a field. I don't necessarily understand that unless they're specifically going for a cryptic command for the tap draw. They almost have to at this point. They go for it. Let's crack an Islet. Let's just do this once. All right, young Pyro. We'll just let it through then. Let's see what's on top. Spire Bluff Canal. Gross, man. We hit no. Let's crack the Islet. Let's see what's on top. We see a dispute. We can reveal that. Let's play the Spire Bluff, and then we're just going to pass. Is what it is. What are you going to do? A little bit worried now, for sure, because once these guys get going, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. They brainstorm. They go for the Mystic Sanctuary. That's bad. And then they go for a path. Okay, I feel like that's a mistake. Let's get a mountain. I feel like that's a huge mistake, actually. So we're going to pass on through. We can't upgrade the Terramander just yet. We have a Delver trigger. They knew we had a dispute, so why would they use the mana to play Path unless they have a Veil? In which case, good lord. Wow, reveal Lightning Bolt? No way. Do we just win? We adapt, move on to combat. Gonna accidentally waste 1 mana. That's not ideal. We swing in with the team, at them, not the Jace. That 1 path to exile completely ruined them. Good lord. All right, GG's. All right, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend. And this looks pretty good. We don't really have a threat, but we have interaction on the stack and on the board if we're willing to wait a little bit. So yeah, we should be good. Looks like our opponent went down to 6 and they go Cavern. That's not good. Naming Elf and then make an Elf. All right, how do we want to do this? We see an opt. I think we're just gonna go Flooded Strand. Island pass, and then we're going to go for an opt at the end of their turn. We're going to have to try extra hard here. Our opponent plays a Horizon Canopy. Then they go Devoted Druid. They swing in. This looks to be a combo variant instead of the green-black variant that I've been seeing online lately. They swing in for 1. No problem. Let's go opt. Fiery Islet. We'll put that on the bottom. We get a Delver. Delver's good, but not necessarily what we're looking for. We find ourselves a Snapcaster Mage. Okay. So I think what I want to do here is just go Sorcery Speed on the opt. Find a second Sinkhole. I mean, that's tempting, but we just can't do that. And we find a Young Pyro. Okay. The shields are going to be down, which is very bad, but we'll see how it goes. Our opponent draws for turn. They've got 4 cards in hand and quite a bit of mana. They're tapping things. Ooh, is this going to be a company? It is. Wow. Okay. And they only hit a War Master. What bad luck. We untap, Delver, opt, yes, excellent. What can we do here? We can go opt into Sinkhole. That's tempting. I think we can probably get away with that. Serum Visions, let's put that on the bottom. Islet is fine. Let's go for the Sinkhole on the Druid. We'll exile the whole graveyard. That dies. Then we'll swing in for 3 in the air, and we'll pass. Our opponent draws for turn. They go 3 mana into an Elvish Archdruid. That's going to be quite a bit of power. They swing in for 3. We untap, draw for turn. There's a Young Pyro. Young Pyro is very strong, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to be good enough. Part of me wants to just crack the Islet. I think that's what I'm going to do. Geez, another Young Pyro? Are you kidding me? We'll play 1, and I think we hold back on this attack. I don't really think we can afford to get too aggressive. So they're going to have all the mana they could ever ask for, so depending on what's in their hand, things could get a little bit dicey. They play another Elf, which gains them mana because of the War Master. By tapping the Archdruid, they get 2 extra mana, essentially, instead of the 1 that it cost for the Elf. So they're going big time here. They play the Coco. Let's see what they get. Wow, that is quite the slew of cards. Goodness. I do not see us beating that. Yeah, we're going to scoop it up. That's pretty gnarly. All right, so we definitely want to bring in the Abrades and the Gusts for sure. Spell Pierce is definitely gone. Not so sure how I feel about the mana leaks. Remands, we can at least cycle, but at the same time, Remand on like a Coco is pretty bad. So maybe we just bring in like 2 leaks. Yeah, I guess this should be fine. All right, we'll play first. This is a decent hand. We can keep this. We don't really have too much removal, but on the play, this is fine. We go Island into Delver. We'll pass. They draw for turn. They go Forest. And then Elf. Let's see if we flip. Vapor Snag. Absolutely. We'll go for the Vapor Snag on their Elf. Then I think I want to just go for the Visions. Set up for the following turns. Sinkhole is really good, but I think a little overcosted. I do like the Bolt, though. We'll put that on top. Overcosted for what we're dealing with right now, anyways. We'll swing in. They draw for turn. They play a second Forest. They go for the Devoted Druid. Very nice. We draw a Bolt. Let's bolt them. Now we move to combat. We swing in. Take them down to 13. So far, so good. If we had another land, I feel like we would be in a marvelous position, but it is what it is. They play an Elvish Mystic. Then they play a Llanowar Elves. We draw for turn. There's an Abrade. I like that. Let's Abrade one of them. Then we move into attack. Swing in for 3. We'll hard pass. They're at 10. They draw for turn. They've got 6 cards in hand. Then they go for the Archdruid. Okay. We draw a Young Pyro. I think here I just want to go for the Petty Theft on the Archdruid. This is just a pure tempo game. We swing in. Take them down to 7. They draw for turn. They try it once again. Hopefully we can get another land so we can go Snap Bolt. We see an opt. We'll go for it. Another opt. Let's put that on the bottom. Sinkhole. Oh, yes. Perfect timing. We go for the Sinkhole. The Druid dies, and we swing in for another 3. Okay. So I think we've stifled their explosive play enough to the point where it wouldn't be wrong to say that we're very likely the winner in this game. They go for the Elite. They get their dudes. Then they go for the Druid. They can certainly chain from here. That's for sure. They play a Zuri. That's pretty scary. We draw for turn. Terramander. Sure, we'll play it. Then we attack in the air. We take them down to 1. So now they either need to deal with our board or just win this turn. But if they try to leverage anything too explosive that isn't necessarily a creature spell, then it's just not going to work. They play a War Master. They're floating mana. There's a Coco. Let's go Force Pitch Snap, and that's that. So what else are we going to do here? I think we can probably just resubmit. That was pretty clean. Yeah, why not? So this hand is half decent. We can probably get a red source very quickly. If not, then it's a little bit sketchy, but that's fine. They go for the Cavern, so so counter spells are definitely off. That's to be expected, though. They go for the Llanowar Elves. We have a Spire Bluff, though. That's very good. So let's set this up with a Serum Visions. We see a Borrower and a Delver. Let's go bottom top. Petty Theft could be very useful. Next turn, we're likely just going to go for the Gust or an Abrade, though, but having follow-up after that will be tremendous. We just need to be very careful for this turn. If they go for some kind of powerful 3-mana play, we can likely punish them, but it really depends. They go for a Devoted Druid and then another Elf. We draw the Brazen Borrower and we play an island. Now the question is, do we wait for the other half of the Druid combo, or do we say wait for them to go Company and then just Gust it? They do have a limited amount of cards in hand, so I think we can probably pass. Yeah, this is definitely the big toss-up in this game. They draw for turn. They play a land. That's a good sign. One less card to play. They go for the Druid. Sure, they're not attacking. That's potentially very scary. However, let's just go for the Abrade on the Archdruid, see what happens. See if this draws a Coco. It does not. Well, that's a pretty good indicator. Second Abrade. All right, let's just try to Abrade the Druid. Oh, they're doing things. 2 mana. Sure, let's see what they hit. It's pretty rough. We'll hard pass. They go for the Cavern. That's potentially a good sign. They only have 1 card left. Ooze creature spell? I don't like that. So their last card is a Scavenging Ooze. That's bad, but manageable for sure. They're just going to eat our graveyard, as you do. Then they swing in. Let's crack this. I think I want to Steam Vents, and then we're going to opt. Borrower number 2. I don't think so. We get a Spire Bluff. We take the 3 damage. We get an Aether Gust. Well, that's kind of nice. I think we're just going to pass here. They draw for turn. They swing with the dudes. We'll say no blocks. They eat one of their creatures. Then they do it again. They're getting hasty. Let's go for the Gust. Now they're going to eat our graveyard. All right, and they put the Skoos at the bottom. That's very good. Okay, so we'll just take the 3 damage. Then they go for a Heritage Druid. Think we can just opt here. Young Pyro. It's a good card. Sure, why not? They get their Druid. They pass. We untap. Force of Negation. It's not really what we were looking for, but all right. Let's play the Pyro. So hopefully now we can start building up just an array of tokens. That would be very good. They draw a card. They choose not to attack at all. That's potentially very concerning. Luckily, we do have a Gust. And we find a Terramander. Sure, we'll play it. And we shall pass. The main problem with this holding pattern is it does give them quite a bit of leverage, and that's just not great. So think we probably just hardcast this. That is dangerous, but I'd rather risk it and have like the guaranteed counter rather than like fool around with a Gust and, you know, have them cast it at a different time. It's just not worth it. So that's the second Coco. They draw for turn. Hopefully they just hit a land or something. Elvish Mystic. All right, might as well be a land. If they weren't going to attack last turn, I don't see them attacking now. They pass, we draw. Fiery Islet. That's good. Let's see how much it costs to pump this dude up. I think that's worth it to me. Swing it in the air for 5. We do need to actually close this out. We can't just hold forever. That's not going to work. Opponent draws a card. They go for the Elite. That's all right. Sure, they can go a little bit wider, but that doesn't actually solve anything, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to do Petty Theft on the token. This will give us another token of our own. You can't return tokens to hand, so it basically just dies, and then we can block. I think we'll block just the regular mana-producing elves first. We take a little bit of damage. We draw for turn. There's another Terramander. Nice. We'll play this dude. Now we'll swing in for 5 in the air once again, and we'll pass. This is definitely a tense game. Elves can be really explosive for sure. We just got to prevent that. They go for the Druid. I think we actually have this one. So let's Gust them. We'll get a token. Then we can go our Flyer at the end of turn. Then we can pump up the other Terramander and swing in for 13 in the air. And they scoop it up. GG's. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and we won the die roll. Nice. So I don't really think this hand is bad per se, but it doesn't really have any instants or sorceries, which half of the hand kind of needs. I think we'll keep this no matter what, but it's definitely a little weird. Our opponent keeps 7. Let's go for the Delver, and we'll pass. See what our opponent plays here. They go for the Marsh Flats. Fun. They crack it immediately. They get a basic Swamp, and then Fatal Push. Sure. We draw for turn, get a Lightning Bolt. Now we're talking. Let's crack the Flooded Strand. We'll go Steam Vents. Then we go for the Young Pyro, and we'll hard pass. Our opponent draws for turn. They go Fetid Heath. Oh boy. I've seen where this goes. Thoughtseize. All right, that's different. I was like, we get to see a Smallpox soon? That would be bad. They go for the Snap. All right. Second Thoughtseize. Okay. And they take the Young Pyro as well. So they've got 4 cards left in hand. We're stuck with 2, but we do have a better board by a long shot, and we go for the Serum Visions. We'll yield. Then we get another Young Pyro, an Islet, and then a Remand. Let's go top. And I think here I want to just go Terramander. We'll swing in with the Young Pyro. That'll take him down to 13. I do worry about them playing Shadows, and maybe we're just helping them, but we can go wide enough that that shouldn't be too much of an issue. They play another Plains. Will we see a Liliana? We will see a Banishing Light. Wow. Can't say I expected that one. I also can't say we have any enchantment removal, although we do have Petty Theft, which is kind of nice. We draw for turn, get the Islet. Let's go for the second Young Pyro. Then we'll swing in with the dudes. We get in for damage, take them down to 11, then we'll pass. Our opponent draws for turn. They go Flagstones. Then they play a Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. Probably just going to create a token. That's fine. Yes, indeed. So let's bolt Sorin. Lose a little bit of life, but we get an extra token. That's nice. Take the Sorin down to 1. We untap, draw Remand. Let's go both tokens at the player, the Terramander at the Sorin because they can't block, and then we're just going to hold back the Young Pyro. They will trade tokens and gain some life. That's good for them. But now they have no board outside of the Banishing Light, which is just kind of holding our other Young Pyro hostage. They draw for turn. They go for a Shambling Vent. If we see another Planeswalker, we can just Remand it. We get another token. That gets returned to their hand. We get a Bolt. Beautiful. We bolt them. Another token, and that should be that. Mana Leak, excellent. We're just going to swing in with a team, and we can just Mana Leak the Sorin. We shall pass. They draw for turn. I assume they're probably just going to play the Sorin again. Maybe they have some kind of board wipe, or they just scoop it up. Nice. This is a bit of an odd matchup because I don't really know if we actually side anything out, like at all. We could, I suppose, take maybe a Blood Moon or 2, but I don't know what we would take out. I guess the biggest weakness is maybe Remand, but if they're playing a lot of top end, Remand is really good. So I think we really just resubmit here. Okay, this hand is actually pretty darn good. We'll keep this. The double Borrower is very strong, particularly against Planeswalkers, tokens, that kind of thing. It's also a bit Thoughtseize proof because there's 2 of them. They go for a Marsh Flats, crack it immediately. They did keep 7. I'm assuming we're going to see a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition. Yes, indeed. All right, let's see what they take. I assume maybe the Leak, maybe the Borrower, maybe the Mage. Definitely depends. Snap is incredible, but the Borrower is very good as well. They do take the Snapcaster Mage. That's fine. We get an Islet. Let's go Spire Bluff. We'll hard pass. They draw for turn. They go Shambling Vent. That's great for us. Shambling Vent's a really good card because the lifelink is so essential in so many matchups. But God, when it comes in tapped, you just feel awful. Especially if you have it on turn 3 and that's your only land. Ugh. We get a Terramander. I don't think it's time for that quite yet. We'll put that on the bottom. I really like the Force. We see a Lightning Bolt as well. That's fine. Let's go for the Fiery Islet, and we'll pass. They draw for turn. They go for the Core Firewalker. All right. Guess we can just Mana Leak that. Then they go for an Urborg, and it looks like they're passing. We draw for turn, get a Young Pyro. Let's put this Steam Vents in untapped. Then let's go for the Pyro and see if we can get this going. We'll pass. They draw for turn. 5 cards in hand. They go for the Celestial Purge. Let's go Force Pitch Borrower. We'll get a token. Purge is a great card, and I'm not used to seeing that art, but that's really cool. We'll yield to the Pyro trigger. Is that it? Wow. We'll pass. We have a Serum Visions. That's very good. We go for it. Get a token. Let's see. Delver Vapor Snag. That's pretty good. We're probably going to go bottom and then top, I guess. Vapor Snag is really, really nice, especially against any kind of token, for sure. We'll swing in for 3. We got them down to 14. We pass. They draw. They go for the Lingering Souls. Sure. Let's go bolt them to the face. We'll pass, get a Vapor Snag. Let's Vapor Snag one of these Spirit tokens. We get another Elemental. Now we move to combat. We swing in with the 3 Elemental tokens. We'll see if they block. They do not. All right. We pass. They draw. They go for the Isolated Chapel. Let's see if we get another Sorin, or perhaps a Gideon. Even an Elspeth. Elspeth is pretty good with tokens. Yes, indeed. They play their Sorin. They create a life-linking Vampire. Now, unfortunately for them, we do have Petty Theft, which is very nutty. So let's Petty Theft the life-linking Vampire, and in exchange for that, we get a token. Makes you wonder who's the token deck. They pass, we untap, we get a Remand. That is tremendous. So now we're going to begin combat, and we're going to swing everybody at Sorin and then just pull back the Young Pyro so we can save a little bit of time. And poor Sorin is no more. We shall pass. We have a Remand. We've been here before. They go for the Fatal Push, which I'm not gonna do anything about, as weird as that sounds. I'm more concerned about the follow-up. Well, you can't blame me. Let's go for the Remand. We get another one. All right. So now we definitely have some big questions here on what we want to do. I think it's probably objectively correct to crack one of the Islets since we have a guaranteed Remand. Tap it for black. We don't need to lose any life. And then we crack it. We get a Terramander and an Opt. Let's just do a Sorcery Speed Opt because we might be able to get a Bolt. And we do. Nice. Okay. Well, let's swing in with a team. That's funny. They block, takes them to 3. We hit them with a Bolt for Xaxes. And there you have it. Nice. GG. And there you have it. Blue-Red Delver is actually a lot stronger than some might think, even in Modern. With Uro seemingly behind us, or so the rumors say, some decks are likely going to be getting more and more linear. Perhaps low CMC interaction will be on the menu once again. I do feel like the deck kinda wants Path or Push, and I'm not against that, but I wanted to try a pure version of the build first. Speaking of the Uro ban, I'm likely going to be trying out some new decks that might be thriving in the post-Uro landscape. One thing that I probably won't be trying are the Valky builds, unless they get way cheaper. The main reason that I didn't buy into Uro in the first place was my fear of a ban, and Valky just seems more offensive, at least in isolation. Either way, I want to thank you all so much for your continued support. You guys really are the best. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. This stuff really does help me out, so I appreciate that. And as always, stay safe out there and have a good one.